What's going on, everybody? It is time for episode number 4, part number 4 of What the Heck Happened to Cash. The whole crew's here. That's right. So start sharing this video. I'm going to go ahead and take a little truth will set you free with the flag on the front of it. We're on all the different channels. Casey's making us go live on Rumble, I believe, right now. I see him nodding in the background.
Oh, I'm going to share
And we're going to get started as soon as everybody jumps on. We have covered a lot to this point. I see all the comments coming in. We have covered everything. Yeah, I see somebody hitting the hearts. Like it, share it, do all the things with this video. We have covered Cash from the point of going to January 6th, going away, being in that first court case regarding everything that he did back in 2010 and all the previous charges. We covered all that on part 1 and part 2. We then talked about his first area going through the gulag and all these different things. January 6th gulag, all the people he was there with, talked about everything leading up, the national anthem every night, all the things. And then finally we got to where he would be I guess, charged or sentenced with the Capitol. And that's where we are right now. We'll get to it once everybody starts to jump on. So like this video, share this video. This should be the final episode of What the Heck Happened to Cash. So before we get started, Cash, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, just hanging out, chilling, being alive and free. Oh, feels good. I got my computer back. Oh, my God. It feels so good. Look at my background. I bought a boot this way. I bought a boot at Five Below, and then I got a little sun, and then I got that right there. So it looks like, cool little lights. I got 2 ring lights on me right now to try to, do something with all of this because it's not all the way there, So, yeah.
So since our last episode, because we weren't sure when we were going to be able to do this because they told him in the halfway house that he wasn't allowed to go online or do all the different things. So but then he was like, wait, am I allowed to? Because everybody else does. So this is very odd. So we were like, let's just put it on pause. And then before we go back to getting out of the gulag and going to federal prison.
Wait.
Yes.
Stop. I want everybody to know right now, okay? I need to tell you this. Before we get started, I didn't break the law inside the halfway house by going live, all right? And I cut it out because I'm not going to get caught jaywalking. You understand? I'm not going back. I'm not breaking the rules, okay? So just want to throw that out there. If my PO ends up watching this, I am a law-abiding citizen.
Well, right. You didn't know it was wrong. And that's why we didn't do any more of the shows, because once you went live a couple times and they said stop, you stopped. So
yes,
you didn't know.
That
Simple as that.
So please, guys, if you would, everybody right now that is watching, we have a nice little amount of people. Do me a favor. Share this video out and say, Cash is back. And then tell everybody to come and watch because
hashtag Cash is back. Actually, yeah. Cash, since you don't do this correct yet, what is it? It's the cat. What is your Instagram? I'll put it on the bottom.
The Cash Lee Kelly.
I made the damn thing and I don't remember what it is. So there it is. So now you can see it on the bottom of his name right there. So follow him there. What is it on TikTok? Because I know, well, you finally got the numbers on TikTok.
Let me tell you, because I'm using my computer, so that means I could use my phone. This is dope. This is
amazing.
Great.
What freedom feels like, right?
Yes, it feels amazing. Oh, that's
you in that damn CCP app.
Okay, there it is, right there, everybody. At Cash Kelly 6. And we're going up, doing some numbers on there. Got a couple.
If you're wondering what 6 is, that refers to Cash Limp.
J6.
Oh, got it. Okay. Why didn't you do Cash Kelly J6 then?
I don't know.
His account would probably get banned by TikTok.
Yeah, probably. That's actually true.
You want to see a cool one? Want to see a cool TikTok?
Let's see it.
All right, here, ready?
And then we'll get started.
I like that one.
Right with Casey.
Shout out to my man Loza Alexander for that amazing track. It went crazy.
You've been talking to Loza a bit. I know we're waiting for a couple more people to jump on. Again, like this video. We're on Cash's page too, so let's get some more people going on here.
Here, let me share it off. Let me share it again.
How's Loza? I know Loza's fighting cancer. You've been talking to him a little bit. How's he doing?
That's my bro, man. He's doing good because he's a fighter. He's a survivor. He's a winner. So he's thriving. He's going to be fine. And shout out my man Loza. I love you, brother.
Cool. Casey, while Cash is resharing to make sure everybody knows what's crapping, go ahead and give us an update. Oh, by the way, real quick, guys, Thursday is going to be Truth Will Set You Free this week, and we got Derek Evans, who is just on Timcast. He'll be on our show Thursday night at 6. So again, this is not Truth Will Set You Free. This is the Cash show we're doing on Tuesday. Truth will be that night, and we'll talk a little bit more about him running in West Virginia for Congress for federal position. But yeah, so just so you know, that's it. Casey, what's going on?
What's going on is Ronna McDaniel is out as RNC chairwoman, which is going to be fantastic. Hopefully, all of the Republicans actually show up to participate and vote. That is the only thing we have to achieve now. And having a new chairperson will help with that. The other thing, we failed in impeaching Mayorkas today, but by design, because Steve Scalise wasn't able to vote today. And with him not being able to vote today, they were going to tie. And so it was going to put it at a pause and they were not going to be able to do anything. The reason why Blake Moore voted against it is to give it an opportunity to be revoted on next week. If it would have ended up in a tie, they wouldn't have been able to do that. So Blake Moore from Utah, I'm not usually a big fan, but thank you for making the smart decision.
Boom. Look, Casey always brings the updates. I don't even know what he was talking about just there, but it sounded legit.
It did. It sounded really good. It's funny. If you guys were local, I do the weather since you got that down pat, Casey. You're doing what you do.
SoCal is swimming right now, so that's what
it's global warming. Yeah, all that stuff. We'll talk on Thursday night about
this cooling, bro.
Global cooling. Although global warming, they just say is these freak events. I who knows? I had an interesting conversation with a biologist that I'll tell about.
You can't say that climate change is actually wrong. There's no way to say that climate change is wrong because the climate changes every year.
I agree. 4 times. I think climate change is. I do think climate change is a real thing. The question is it man-made or not? But that's a whole different story. Harp. Look at you. You haven't been out for a month and you're already a conspiracy theorist. You're back.
I'm not. Scramble the Jets. I was just being fun.
Hey,
all right. I'm having
Scramble
fun.
the Jets.
I'm waiting for him to be like, the Vatican went dark. The Vatican went dark.
Hey, it did. It did. I'm standing by it, bro. They seen the police out there. All right. They seen them. I seen it.
Isn't there 2 P's in Harp? I think there's 2 P's.
And I think
there is.
Doesn't it end in E?
Chemtrails. You can't say that that's not a real thing. I know you see the chemtrails.
I believe in chemtrails.
All right then. So we're on the same page.
We are already not. It's
Cash,
2 A's.
Talk about what your belief system is on the sun.
Well, I got a couple. I have a couple. All right. So they say that the sun is 93 million miles away, right? I don't believe that. And the reason I don't believe that is because the way that the combustion rays come through the clouds. I think it's a lot closer and it's smaller than what they say it is. That's my belief.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. All right. We left off, Cash. We were talking about first. I'm going to put this on the bottom. We're doing pretty good. I think people have given about $2,300, and I know there's whatever issues we were all talking about last week. But if you would like to continue to support Cash, where is the
helpcash.com?
Where is it? There it is. Helpcash.com. It's on the bottom right there. It is just a give, send, go. That's how he's getting equipment, how he's kind of getting a job set up as he's getting out, all these different things. And coming soon, Cash will be we'll talk about it more on Thursday night, and there'll be a Zoom call on Thursday night after the show. If you want to know more about it, Cash is being represented and I'm helping him out with it, being represented by an American products company, a lot of cleaning stuff and different stuff you would buy for your home health-wise as well. So
you guys
we'll talk about that later. But if you're interested, just put it in the comments and I'm sure we'll reply to you and give you the Zoom link to be on a Zoom with Cash. Okay.
Yes. That's going to be fun.
And I will be there. Some other Patriots will be there. Patriotic brand. Anyways, that's all. That's what I got. Cash, let's go ahead and take it from you guys would sing the national anthem every night. We're getting near the end of your time at the gulag. You were there for about 2 years, and then bam, it was time for you finally to face the quote unquote music and go to sentencing or whatever they called it. So what all happened with that?
Okay, so when I went in front of the judge after a long wait for 2 misdemeanors, okay, 2 misdemeanors. I sat inside DC DOC, sentenced already for the conspiracy. So I got that 48 months. And then I sat in DC DOC as a sentenced man already for one, around a whole bunch of pretrial detainees, and had to wait there a year and a half for them to let me plead guilty to a misdemeanor. They dropped the 2. It was 2. It was disturbing Congress while in session, and then you had violent entry, which sounds bad, right? But it's really just a fancy way of saying trespassing. All right, that's what it was. 2 misdemeanors. Okay. Then when I went there and I pled guilty, got the plea deal. The plea deal was if I pled guilty, that they'll drop it down to picketing and parading. I sat in DC DOC for a year and a half waiting to get out of there on a misdemeanor that carries 6 months at the most. So yeah. So when I went in front of the judge, I thought about it a lot. A lot of these guys went in front of the judge. I'm not going to say who, not going to put no names out there, but they were like, basically smearing Trump. And I'm like, I can't do that because I left before Trump ever said to go peaceful and patriotically down there. I went on my own. If you remember, Russo, we had already been on our.
We were gone before he said that. Yeah.
So I couldn't see myself blaming somebody for my actions. So I didn't do that. But I did tell the judge that I apologized for taking a picture on the statue, which he said, well, Mr. Kelly, taking the picture with the statue isn't what disturbed me. That's really not what angers me. What really got me was when you proceeded to climb our nation's capital and then waved the flag as a sort of rally cry or battle cry to try to rally the troops. And I was like, oh man, that stung a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But at the end, inside, I'm like, oh, whatever, because what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? It's already over. I'm already sentenced already. I'm doing time. So what are we going to do here, sir? I didn't say that. I was very respectful. I said, I feel that. I understand, sir. I get it. But yeah, he gave me 60 days. That was my sentence. 60 days. All right. When I pled guilty to that, they gave me 60 days, 30 consecutive, 30 concurrent, which didn't matter. It literally didn't matter. And I had to stay there and I got screwed out of my freaking time because I could have been programming and I could have been home way sooner, but it's okay. All right. It's all right.
So if you would have had your right to a speedy trial for that, and it would have taken, say, 3 months, and you would have been able to get to a federal penitentiary to be able to do your programs, how soon would you have been out? And I know that you ended up getting out even later anyways, and you're supposed to be. How soon could you have potentially gotten out? A year before when I got out right now. Could have been a year earlier. So it would have been like 2020, like December of 2022-ish?
Yep.
Wow. January, I guess. January of 2022 or 2023.
65% of your time because you can get a year off with the RDAP. Shout out President Trump for the the prison reform. You know what I mean? But yeah, that right there would have gave me a whole year off on top of the good time that I had for working. So technically, though, you were supposed to get, because you ended up finding out, and I'm fast forwarding a little bit, you found out you were supposed to get out closer to June or July of this year recently. So would that have meant you would have got out a year before that? Yeah. So you would have been out then June of... I would have been in the halfway house in June. Of 2022? Yes. So like... maybe a little later than that. July, you do 65% of your time. And that includes your halfway house. So if they would have gave me 6 months in the halfway house, yes, you're right. It would have been June. I would have been in a halfway house in June until December. 2022. Yeah. I'm going to go and just say that again. 2022, June is when you should have been out. Cool. Because that's, and a lot of people, and I've had the haters on the left who have looked up your paperwork, because it still shows that it was violent entry and the other and the whatever the other one was, interrupting violent Congress. Entry and disturbing Congress while in session. But what you actually have on your record is what right now? Picketing and parading. That's it. Yeah, a misdemeanor or picketing and parading. I got the felony from before that when I was younger. Well, right. I'm saying in terms of the January 6th situation, for those that are looking at his paperwork, which is really poorly worded by, of course, our federal government, that still shows what he was originally charged with, what he was actually, I guess, convicted and pled guilty to, was a misdemeanor known as picketing and parading. Yep. Facts. To which you got 60 days, 30 days concurrent, 30 days, whatever they call it.
Which what does that mean again, Cash? When it's 30 days concurrent,
So
30
the
days.
30 days basically 30 days extra and 30 days running with the sentence that I was already serving. If you would have just gave me the 60 days concurrent, I would have been, it wouldn't have mattered. It was like, okay, the big time eats up the little time, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And again, let's not forget, for those that did or did not watch our first episode of this, essentially that original judge who I do respect. I think he was a decent guy.
I like him.
Nope.
Shout out to him. I'm not going to say his name because he got mad last time of
I did.
14,000 letters that came to him. 14,000 letters. That's a lot of letters.
That is
and
a
he
lot
had
of
to
letters.
read them all.
I fault him. I do fault the defense attorney in the first one. Your defense attorney. I think he was a horrible piece of crap human. That's just me that says that. I'm sorry. You did. Cash is much more loving than me. But
God bless
anyways,
the brother.
the prosecutor, I think, is the best of them all, by the way. I literally like the prosecutor. But anyways, with all that said, let's not forget that they sentenced him essentially based on his crime at the Capitol that turned out to be a misdemeanor, and also the breaking of parole situation, which we all know was BS as well too. So anyways, that's where we are. Now it's time for him to go to federal prison. We're also going to talk about who he was sharing things with. And I remember you shared with a couple of the cops, for not just the main cop, but another cop. And I remember you telling me stories about this. And by the way, while we're finishing that last bit, Cash and I don't know if Casey was talking or Nikki or whoever it was, Cash and I talked a lot about the fact that hell no, you're not pleading guilty to anything. And then we weighed it all out and we're like, you kind of, just
might as well get it out the way.
Might as well get it out of the way. It's going to be minor. And at the end of the day, it's about seeing your kids. And as soon as you can get home to your kids, and fighting it anymore would have gotten uglier. And that's why he decided to plead guilty.
Yeah.
Did you say his pronouns?
He. You better. You better. You understand?
Shit.
No. Identify as a lion.
That's one of the last pictures we took. The next to the lion at that hotel.
Right. That's my animal right there.
All right, let's talk about federal prison now. So you then get transferred, and you actually, I think, went dark for we couldn't talk to you for months because you were in between a lot of different prisons. You couldn't talk to even. Yeah, I forgot about how crap that process was. Go ahead and talk about how you ended up from DC to wherever to Arizona.
Okay, so from DC, I got shipped to Oklahoma. Oklahoma is a holdover. So we go to Oklahoma, and it sucks because you can't do anything. It's worse than a regular jail. It's just horrible. And there's a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on. So I stay there, and you can't use the phone for the first day. Then when you do use the phone, you got to wait so long. And then there's so many people there, and it's literally only 3 phones at that place. 3. There was 3 phones with a whole unit full of people. So we all were just taking turns. You know what I'm saying? We had times where we used the phone. But from there, and the food sucked, by the way.
Where was that?
In Oklahoma City.
That's right.
So anyway,
Yeah, we were able to talk a couple times there. I think that was the last time I talked to you for months. Yeah.
So then we leave. They ship me out from there, and I go to Lexington, which is which was dope. I thought I went to Hogwarts. It was great. It was not bad at all. I love you too. I love you too. I love all you guys, straight up. I appreciate the support. But yeah, so I go there and I'm like, this is great. This is phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? This place ain't bad at all, even though it was prison, because I went through so many horrible places at this point. I'm like, this is fantastic. I like it here. It looks like a country club. You know what I'm saying? So I go, and when I walk in, they're like, okay, you got to be on quarantine for 2 weeks for COVID. It's like, not again, But I can say this. This place, when I went there, they had no doors because it's a low. So we didn't have any doors. You had your own room. It was in a cell. It was a room, and it was good. It was all right. It wasn't bad. So after the 2 weeks, then I got to use the phone because we couldn't use the phones for being on restriction. So when I get out of there and I go to my dorm, there's 300 people in one building, and there's multiple buildings. So the unit that I was in, there was 300 people. I was in a room where it had four men. It was a 4-man bunk, but there was only 3 of us in there, and everybody was cool. We had our own door. We can open it whenever we want. We could stay out as late as we wanted. It was all right. That place was like freaking, I felt like I was going home. You know what I'm saying? It was like it was more freedom than I ever had in being locked up. And I really enjoyed it. So then the lieutenant comes up to me. He goes, hey, you got to pack your stuff out. This was like 2.5 months later. Hey, you got to pack your stuff out. You're going to you're going to Lewisburg. And I'm like, Lewisburg? I'm like, what's in Lewisburg? And all the other inmates is like, oh, bro, you're going to the camp. You're going to the camp. I'm like, all right, cool. So then I go, I pack all my stuff out. Like a week or two later, I go. So when I get there, my guy that works there that was packing everything out, he goes, yo, bro, I got to tell you something. I say, what? He goes, man, it don't look like you're going to the camp, bro. I say, what you mean I'm not going to the camp? He goes, nah, bro, it says right here, Lewisburg, USP. I'm like, what? How? You can't go from a low to a USP. You can't do that, right?
What does USP stand for?
United States Penitentiary.
Got it.
Yeah, it's the worst. It's horrible. You never want to go there. Okay. Anyway, so I'm like, all right, well, screw it. I gotta go. If I gotta go, I gotta go. So I go. And when I get there, we're all in the hole. Everybody's in the hole. No, I lied. When I left from there, I had to go back to Oklahoma, the transit place. So when I go back to Oklahoma in the transit place, they put me in remember how I told you guys before I got locked up when I was like, yo, I'm not joining a gang. I teach kids to not join gangs in the world. When I go to prison, I'm not joining a gang. Didn't have to deal with none of them politics when I was in DC because everybody wasn't, they were just regular dudes that stormed the Capitol. So when I leave that place, when I leave Lexington, around a bunch of gangbangers, but everybody was cool, you know what I'm saying? And I was making a lot of friends in there telling them about what I do in the world. So I'm like, I'm not joining no gang in the beginning of it all in 2021 when they sentenced me. So they were supposed to send me to this program that is for gang dropouts, people who don't want to be a part of their gang anymore. So in my mind, I'm like, this is going to be good because I'm going to be around a lot of like-minded people that want to help, that want to, change people's lives. And that's what I'm thinking it is. All right. So they tell me I'm going. I go. I'm in Oklahoma City. I go to the unit. And when I get into the unit, there's a whole bunch of people back in Oklahoma City. And they all look like gang members, right? So it's a drop unit is what it's called, a gang dropout unit that I was in Oklahoma. So when I get in there, you find out real quick that they might have dropped out of their gangs, but some of them didn't want to drop out of their gangs. They weren't like me. They weren't people that were like, yo, I want to be better. No, a lot of these guys ran off their yard. Either they were going to get stabbed or they did get stabbed or they got beat bad and removed from the yard. Or some of them ran up debts and they were running. So they ended up being in a dropout program. The dropout program wasn't what I thought it was. It was not for people that want to be better. That's what I'm saying. All right.
It was like when somebody drops out of high school, but it was out of a gang. It's not like it was for the right reasons.
Bro, it was insane. All right. So you got these dudes in here that are still politicking. And you have the Soreños, you know what I'm saying? You have the MS, you have Latin Kings, you got GDs, you got Vice Lords, you got Bloods, you got Crips, you got everything that you could think of, bro. Black Hand, you know what I'm saying? Everything that you could think of. So I'm in here and I'm talking. Luckily I got a cool celly, you know what I'm saying? Who really, he has the right mind and he wants to do the right thing. He was a good dude. So I ended up selling up with him and where I'm talking to him about it. He'd already went through this process. He's been a gang dropout. He was just transferring to another unit or to another prison. And he was like, yeah, bro, you're going to be all right, bro. He was like, it's the same thing. It's really not like anything different. It's worse. It's more, I'm going to tell you right now, it's more dangerous. You got to be careful because in a regular prison, like where I came from, there was structure. There was the people that had their gangs. They was cool. Everybody knew the rules. You don't sit here. You don't do this. You don't do that. And when you could talk to whoever you want, but don't get in no beef because it's going to wreck the car. Everybody's going to get into it. You know what I'm saying? And if you do decide that you're going to fight and then it's going to be agreed upon, it's going to be a one-on-one and y'all go handle that in the shower or you go however you're going to handle it. So that's how it was. But in a drop unit, and a drop prison, a dropout program, it's different because there's no rules. It's every man for himself. Every man for himself. It's like you own, and then you had that one group where it's like the ex Soreños. They dropped out and they started a dropout gang in the dropout prisons called the 25s or whatever, 25ers or how I don't know what the hell they call themselves, but So then it gets dangerous because you got a whole bunch of people that are on man time. It's like, yo, you standing on your own and you're dealing with some of the worst of the worst. Some of these people were straight murderers. They'll kill you because they owed you money, and then they wrecked a car, so they had to get run off the yard. Then you got dudes that are just stealing, and they got to get ran off the yard. You got dudes that got caught doing something that they shouldn't have been doing in a prison where it's all men, even though some of the men don't know that they're men anymore. I'm gonna leave that there. So they got ran off the yard for that. They don't play them kind of games. So I leave. We leave from this place where it was, I seen the chaos that was coming. They shipped me to.
How long were you there for?
About 2 weeks. And
so it wasn't even, okay, it wasn't that long. And by the way, real quick, we'll take a little second. Where was it? Here it is right here. This sounds dirty. I have to bring this up. They need a t-shirt for the ladies, Seeds for Cash. It just, something about that seems, you know.
I like it.
All right. So you were in hell for 2 weeks. No.
I leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I leave. I go to Lewisburg. Lewisburg scared the hell out of me. All right. You ever seen the movies where they got the penitentiaries and you got that big ass wall? That big ass wall, and you drive in the sky, you see the towers everywhere, like at a fucking airport. You know what I'm saying? You got the towers. So I'm like, damn, man. I'm going to the USP. You know, this is crazy. And I'm chained up with a whole bunch of other men, and they're like, what the hell is going on? Some of them already knew what was up. When I get there, I'm in the hole. So I'm stuck in the hole because you got to go through this process. It's the dropout process where you got to fill out this packet. And I fill out this packet. Cash done, spread plenty of seeds. LOL, kids and thought. You know it. You know it. I love all my babies, by the way. I don't regret a thing. Shout out to all the women that I got kids with. I love y'all. -1.
Cash.
I like you.
I like you. Oh, shit. All right.
But anyway, look, I'm sorry. I'm glad to be back, you guys. All right. It feels good.
I think
it feels good to be back.
How do you go to prison for 3 years and have teeth that white? I don't get it. You got these super white pearls.
And you know what's crazy? They didn't let me go to the dentist one time to get a teeth cleaning. I still haven't got them clean. I just was making sure I was brushing the hell out of them with this little tiny toothbrush. It's this big. You stuck in a hole. That's all they give you. A little tiny toothbrush with some toothpaste that don't do nothing. So you got to be just scrubbing them. That's what I did. I did it my best. I reached, you know what? That's another story. We'll get into that later. Anyway, I'm in Lewisburg. When I get to Lewisburg, we're in the hole. And you can't use the phone. They don't let you use the phone. All right. You get one phone call. That's it. And if they don't answer, you're screwed. Okay. So I had to go back to old school writing letters, which I really enjoy because it's really nice to get your thoughts out on paper. By the way, off topic, when I went to the studio, I got my notepad and he was like, bro, get your ancient ass out of here, man. Put that notepad down and pick up your phone and type like a regular artist on your phone. But that's a side note. Anyway, I stay in the hole for about 3 months because there was a guy on the unit that couldn't be around nobody because we were in the same gang. And he stabbed a dude that he wasn't supposed to stab. And he was in like a witness protection type bid. And he couldn't be around any other people that was Latin Kings. So I had to stay in the hole until he left, which, by the way, everybody, I am not a Latin King. I dropped out way before prison in the world. I've been an activist, and I've been against all of that since I've been about 23 years old. Let me go ahead and clarify that. And, yeah, that's just that. Anyway, so when I finally – I got a funny story. When I'm in the hole, they let you go out to the rec cages, right? Rec is in a freaking tiny – box, like a cage, like a kennel for a dog, but it's for humans, right? So I go out there, they bring in some new people, and when I'm coming back in, I didn't know that they brought new people. So I'm walking down the hall, and I'm like, what's going on? What's going on, bro? How you doing? I'm saying what's up to everybody. And I look into this one cell that didn't have nobody in it before I left. Man, this dude standing there, and he got on a thong that he made out of the sheets that he ripped up. Creative, very creative. Made a thong with his whole ass out. Whole ass. Straight up. Nothing else on except for his makeshift training bra that he had on, which was horrible too, by the way, because in prison, if you want to change your sex, they will let you and even give you the hormones, but they won't let you see the dentist. Just throw that out there. No, it's okay. But yeah, whole ass was out standing there, and I'm like, I said, excuse my language, but I say, man, what the fuck is that? And the CO goes, oh yeah, I can't even tell you what the CO said because that's that derogatory. But I said, hell no, take me back to my cell. You know what I'm saying? So I go to my cell, and that was the first time ever in my life that I'd seen something like that, and it kind of scarred me a little bit inside, you know? So I had to get on the door and be like, hey, put some motherfucking clothes on, nigga. You know what I'm saying? And the dude, well, I'm gonna say Lily because Lily's cool. Don't get me wrong. I ended up talking through the door, and Lily was funny as hell. Had dudes crying over him, and it was comical. I've never seen no shit like it in my life. But anyway, when I finally get out of there, out of the hole, and I do get to go to the unit 3 months later, I'm around all these guys. We're out there playing soccer, and I'm lifting weights and doing my thing. So Lily's still in the hole. Now, you find out real quick when you go to prison, especially into the drop, yo, there's a lot of dudes that are in the drop unit because they got caught messing with Lily's. All right, I'm gonna just say it like that. Okay. So anyway, they were like, hey,
they went from being in a hole to being in the hole.
Bro,
Yes.
You have no idea. It's the nastiest shit in the world. But anyway, I go to the unit, and when I go there, everybody that was already in the unit, they're like, yo, hey, bro, is that train? Can I say that word?
What?
Or is it offensive?
We'll call it the it. I think you can actually say that because it won't get picked up by the algorithm. Yes. What's another the train. Okay,
the train. So they go, hey, yo, Cash, what's going on, bro? No, by the way, they didn't say Cash. They call me J6. That was my nickname. Hey, yo, J6. Hey, man, is it any trains back there? And I said, what? They say, I heard it was a train back there. So I'm like, you know what? I'm about to have some fun. We call it bidding. This is how you bid off somebody. All right. I said, oh, hell yeah, bro. It's a train back there. It looked just like Beyonce. Got big old double D's and got a Brazilian butt lift. They said, nuh-uh. I said, yeah, bro, waiting for you. Yeah, it's coming. So then I end up leaving from there, and I go to the place where I was going. It's a low. And I mean, a medium. It's an FCI. So I go there, and when I get to that prison, there's a whole bunch of people there that some of them that I knew that I'd already met. That's my homies. So I fit right in there, but it was just a different vibe because it was back to being real prison. I went from being in a low there where I felt free to being in a place where it was like prison. And it's real.
So you went J6 to what was the next one? Oklahoma City, then to Lewisburg.
No, to Lexington.
To what?
To Lexington, which was like Hogwarts. It was like, you know, when I pulled up there, I thought I was going to meet Harry Potter.
Right.
And then, yeah, from there, went back to Oklahoma City, then went to Lewisburg, Pennsylvania.
Then Lewisburg. Then
I went back to Oklahoma City again.
Because that's the whole, like, that's the middle ground. That's where everybody goes for the
transit goes. And then from there, I went, and by the way, I was in the hole again. When I left Lewisburg to go to where I was going back to Oklahoma City, I was in the hole again, which is why I couldn't talk to you. I was in the hole again because that same dude that I told you about that couldn't be around nobody was there because he left and then I left. But he was still waiting for transfer, so I couldn't be on the unit with him. So they put me in the hole. So then after that, I finally make it to Arizona. When I make it to, is there a class for all this prison slang? I will teach you, but I really don't want to because I want to forget it.
What is it? You did say one. What is it? What is the middle where you're going right now?
Transit.
What was that one called? You said you gave 3 initials.
An FCI.
What does that stand for?
A Federal Correction Institution.
Got it. Okay.
Like that. Yeah, Federal Correction Institute. But anyway.
So how much time has passed from when you left J6 to now? You've been to like 7 different places.
Yeah, it's been. I left there in what was it? November. November, December, January, February. I was at Lexington. And from Lexington, February, March, April, June, I believe I was. Yeah, I think it was June. When I left there and went to Lewisburg. I don't know. I don't even remember, bro. I don't know.
All I know is I remember it was
together.
Well, I knew that there was in some of the conversations we had, you were hearing that there's a chance you'd be out in June.
Yep.
And and you hadn't even made it to your final destination until right around June, and you didn't even know where your final destination was going to be until right around this time.
Yeah. Tucson, Arizona was my last stop. That's where I did the remainder of my sentence in Tucson, which is hot as hell. Like when the devil comes to Arizona in Tucson and he wants to cool down, he goes back to hell. It's hot. Okay. I didn't know that I could get sunburn. I got sunburn, bro. I got darker than I ever been in my life, which I loved. I loved it, by the way. My skin was glowing after it peeled off the freaking snake skin that came from the scorching sun out there. But yeah.
Well, this is a good question real quick. Why did they make you go to so many different prisons?
It wasn't so many. I only went to Lexington and Tucson. Them were the only two prisons that I was at. Everywhere else was transit, because you have to, when you leave somewhere, you got to go through transit, or and Pennsylvania. What's it called? But that was because I did the dropout program. You have to go through there. Everybody does. So I've been to 3 prisons, really.
Okay. All right. So now you ended up in Tucson. You're becoming very black.
Yes.
And then, so where was it that the Asian cop was? Was that in Tucson?
That was in Lexington.
So that was back. That was a little bit ago. Really quick, tell that story, because that was one of the.
So he got jumped.
Yeah.
He got jumped by some dudes. I didn't really get to talk to him all that much. He got jumped. People tried to beat up on him. He beat up one guy. He took the L though, and they put him all in the hole. So I didn't see him, but for like 2 days.
But that was God. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but it was one of the police officers that was just standing there with Derek Chauvin when George Floyd was whatever. And he ended up, I think they talk about him in the fall of Minneapolis quite a bit. But I remember you telling me that he got jumped by, like, how many dudes did you just say?
It was 2.
2 guys, and he held his own, but he lost.
He whooped one of them. He whooped him.
You said he was a little guy too.
Yeah.
He was tough. He doesn't look it, but he was tough, he said.
It was Tao.
Tao, that's right. Yeah. All right. So then you went. So now we're in Tucson.
I'm in Tucson where Derek Chauvin's at. Derek Chauvin's actually there. So I met him, and it was pretty dope, because the guy that I was best friends with in there, that's my brother. He's from where I'm from. We were born in the same hospital. He's been locked up for 14 years. I'm waiting for him to come home. That's my bro. Shout out to my man's P. All right. That's my brother. You guys seen the picture of him, little cocky dude. He's the one that got me all big. But anyway, besides that, he was actually talking with Derek Chauvin. He's the one that started the interview. He got a whole transcript and then had the phone calls happen, you know what I'm saying, with Derek Chauvin on a live interview with a female that I'm not going to say no name.
So this would be the time in the show that everybody, if you could share this or comment and tag the people, because we're debating, Kash is debating where he will go with this. There is a recording with Derek Chauvin. I know we've
answering a bunch of questions and giving his narrative of that day.
So tag Tucker Carlson, tag the Blaze, start doing it now, because at one point we're going to, shop around who will want to take this, but this is the only one like it that Kash has, and so did with his, it a friend?
Not spoke out to anyone.
So yeah, this is the only one of this. So this is something that, can help Kash out, obviously. So talk a little bit about the interview that you did with him and just kind of your overall perspective.
I'm going to talk about me getting to know him, because I actually walked. No one really talked to him when I got there. My guy P was the only person that spoke with him, and I only really hung with P. When I went to Tucson, I didn't really like the vibe there. I didn't really like a lot of the people there. That brother, he was the only one that I talked to, and then me and him both talked with Chauvin. So one day I'm walking with Chauvin, and I'm asking him a couple personal questions, like, how do you feel about that? Or matter of fact, stop there. He was talking to me about his family and the things that was going on with his family, and the people that was making threats, and I was trying to encourage him. I'm like, look, man, they're gonna be fine. You got to not worry about everything that's going on out there, because in his mind, he's never going home. He's got 24 years or 22 years or whatever. So in his mind, he ain't gonna make it. And I told him, I said, bro, you got to keep positive. We can't let the world outside affect us in here, because we got to live day to day. So you got to figure out how to just compartmentalize all of the things that you're feeling about out there and put them away. because you ain't gonna make it through this if you're holding on to that and worrying about what's going on out there. You got to hope for the best for him. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? He has like, he don't really show no personality outside of like cop, like super cop. When he talks, it sounds like he's reading a freaking police report. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I end up getting to know him more and more. And as I get to know him more and more, I start to not like him. God bless him. I hope that everything works out with him, but I start to not like him because of some of the things that he said about that day and what he would have done different, what he said he would have done different. And it infuriated me. I'm not going to lie. It made me very mad, but I let it be, you know.
I just want to go the irony. I remember when you told me and we weren't sure if I was, allowed to share with people and tell people. And I kind of hinted just the irony of this full circle, how this all like, let's really think about this.
I told him that too.
This is the guy that made you create a video that did the whole when are Black lives going to matter to Black people. You created it after the George Floyd situation, after the George Floyd riot. You then become a internet celebrity, sensation, influencer, etc. Next thing you know, you go through this whole path about Donald Trump, and then you go to J6, you go to prison, you do jail, prison, and you end up then in the same area as Derek Chauvin, the guy that started all of it all at one time. The absolute, like, I don't know if you want to call it irony or like path of God or what, if it was meant, whatever it was, to me, that is absolutely unreal.
Well, you know what's even crazier about it, right? I don't know if you remember when we first started talking about it way back when it happened. Everybody was upset about that incident. Everybody on both sides of the aisle, everybody was like, yo, that shit should never have happened. Right.
Agreed. I was that person.
Yeah, me too. And I'm like, but what I said was Derek Chauvin was a piece of shit cop. That's how my stance was. But I don't think that he should have got second-degree murder because I don't think he meant to kill, George Floyd. In my opinion, I don't think he meant to do it. Even me not liking him and getting to know him, I still stand on that. He did not mean to do it. Okay. But getting to know him and talking with him, he never should wear a badge again, bro. Like this man said, because I got cool with him. And he said, I said, yo, if you could do anything different that day, like, what would you do? You know what I'm saying? If you could go back, knowing all this stuff, what would you do different? You know what this man said? Let me ask you guys in the comments, what do you think he said when I asked him this question? What would you have done different if you could go back? What do you think this man said? He already been sentenced. He's seen the outcome of all of this. What do you think that man said?
He would have voted for Hillary.
Sick.
Huh?
Kelly just said, I'd call in sick.
Right?
I think he would have said he would have voted for Hillary.
Bro, I'm going to tell you what this man said. He said, honestly, I said, yeah, honestly, what would you have done different? He said, well, if I could go back, if I would have known that all this was going to happen, I would have just beat the fuck out of him and threw him in the car.
Lisa was the closest.
Bro, that shit shocked me. I'm like, we sit here and we talk. And I get to know you, you get to know me, and I'm positive to him. You know what I'm saying? I'll try to build up. You at the same way I am here is how I was in there, just a little more hard. You know what I'm saying? And when that man said that, instantly I knew you belong in prison. You belong here because you didn't respect your badge. And you guys don't even know the half of it about all the incidents that he had prior to that, which is in the interview. When we talk about all of that. He talks about all the different incidents that he had. I'll say this. Derek Chauvin is not a racist. I know him. He's not a racist. He didn't mean to kill George Floyd. But he is I hate to say it. I don't even want to be negative because that's not what I want to do. But when I think about him, I get upset.
So
I'm not gonna lie. It's not a happy
I know when we had this
have
conversation about him, and I'm actually gonna have a little bit of pushback.
Okay.
Because since you've been out, have you watched The Fall of Minneapolis yet?
No.
Just the way that his trial went And again, I have you got to meet him in person. So, if he's a kind of a sociopath or a rough get it. I understand that. But when it comes to that incident, knowing what happened at his trial, what was not allowed to be presented, like a lot, like
agree.
we
we helped him with we're the reason why his motions got filed, even though he said that shit. We were still helping him file his motions and trying to get him out, because I don't believe he murdered him. I don't personally.
He flat out
didn't mean to.
Did not murder him at all. Like, there's so many other issues. So is it possible? And and you and I talked about this right after the incident. His previous record as a police officer, he should have never been a police officer at all anymore. He should have never been even in that instance. He had enough issues before then to where he should have never been in the badge.
Right.
But when it came to what happened and what he has been through because of it, and this is also, by the way, before he got stabbed in prison, what he had been through just to get there, could that have made somebody go, like, I'm trying to look at it from his perspective at this point. If I was already kind of rough around the edges cop, and then I've been through absolute hell for just doing my job for the most part, I would have also probably said fuck it and said I would just beat the shit. Because guess what?
Yeah,
if you would have beat the shit out of him, he might have been out of a job, but he wouldn't be in prison.
Yeah, but you see all the medical stuff that Floyd had wrong with him, he still would have passed, and he would have got blamed still. It would have been the same outcome.
I don't think he would have passed, because and again, this is just he would have had the shit beaten out of him. He'd been in the car, and then he would have maybe had a stomach pumped. You never know.
The thing. We don't know, but here's the thing. I'm not downing him for his stance. You know me. I don't like corrupt shit. I don't like it. I don't like corruption. All right. My whole time through prison, I tried to be right, and I tried to help people, try to lift people up. I helped dudes not get beat down, you know what I'm saying, paying debts for them because they owed, all of that. I try to look out for everybody, and I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Now, me personally, like I say, with the situation that he got with the being sentenced harshly, that shit was horrible. He didn't murder him. I will say that. But getting to know, I walked with this man. I know this man personally. There's so much more about that guy that just, I don't know. It just throws me off. And I can talk to anybody, bro. I can talk to anybody. But I'm telling you, man, the way that even throwing his police officers under the bus, like if you knew all this stuff about the police department, all this crime that they've done and all the corruption that's there, why didn't you say anything about it? Why are you trying to say something now? Because you got in trouble. You're throwing all these other people under the bus, and you should have been standing on that when you were in the world, when you were still a cop. You should have been saying these things then. That's my thing about him. He doesn't accept any responsibility. He passes he was gonna die anyway, or they're the ones that trained me like this to do that, which is true. They did. They trained him to do what he did. All right, that's true. But he starts telling me, man, there's a lot. I'm not even going to talk about it.
But they weren't, according to the documentary, they weren't even allowed to present the manual that has a picture of somebody with their knee on the perpetrator's back exactly the way he had it. They weren't allowed to present that to trial. The judge ended up throwing that out, which is pretty obvious evidence that he was. I'm not saying that he was a shit cop. He was a shit cop. Like, based on his record, he was a shit cop.
Was a horrible cop.
I would like to have had a conversation with him on May 15th to see how sociopathic or psychopathic he was then, to see if he was as bad as after he got completely screwed by the system. And the end game of it, and this is just from the documentary, is you see a lot of police officers that were in that area going, I don't want to show up to any scene now where I have to make a judgment call that would involve doing what my job is if it's a black person, and I'd be in fear of not just losing my job anymore, but going to jail for doing something where somebody overdoses. I think it creates such a dangerous spot for police officers.
I understand that. I got the utmost respect for good police officers.
Yeah.
I used to say back the blue. I don't say that no more. I back the true blue. You know what I'm saying? The true blue. There are cops that do their job and they do it well. Officer Burgos, he's one of them. I talked to him while I was in prison on the phone. You know what I'm saying? I love that brother to death. He does his job the right way. And I guarantee you, he would have never said what my man said, what Chauvin said. And that's the thing. I'm a human too. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean to feel the way that I feel towards him, because I hope the best for him. When he got stabbed, I prayed for him. Real talk. I prayed for him, and I prayed to God let him live. You know, no, he shouldn't have to do his time like that. He's already gotten punished by the system. He shouldn't be having to worry about, you know, fear for his life while he's in prison from people. And that's another thing I didn't say. Yeah, I ended up defending, and I got in some shit over this. I ended up defending him because everybody's like, yo, why you walking with that dude on the yard, bro? You know who that is? I said, yeah, I know who it is. And they're like, you know, he killed the black man. Da, 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 da. And I look at dude, I say, well, what the fuck are you here for? Because I told him he killed somebody on accident. You killing motherfuckers on purpose. And you telling me not to walk with, so maybe I shouldn't walk with you because you would kill brother on purpose. He did it on accident. So I got in some shit over that. It caused a little commotion, you know, but everything got hashed out, and I still walked with him. I walk with whoever I want to. And yeah. So that happened.
So that's it. Yeah. So you
it's a
have
weird relationship, bro. It's a weird relationship that I have with him because I hate it. I don't like when people feel down. And you could see that man feels down. And I hated that shit. So I would talk to him to try to lift him up. And he was just still just so fucking, oh man, his energy was just off. I'm telling you, he was like sociopathic, bro. Sociopathic. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna let you guys decide when you hear the interview. You'll see what I'm talking about.
whoever wants to present the interview, when he says that, we're talking, I see a lot of tags for like Dan Bongino, Tucker Carlson. Just keep tagging them in this version. This is our last version of this video. So this is where we wanted to let people know what Kash has. But yeah, so, and Kash, that one thing, now that you're out and now that you got your computer, whenever you get the chance, as soon as you can, because it is one of the more damning documentaries involving what happened and what happened to George Floyd. Watch, and it is backed up by as much truth as you possibly can find. It's called The Fall of Minneapolis. It's free online. Make sure you check that out. I wonder how you'll feel after watching it, and I'm curious, just because I think I would have probably felt the same way as you, and I know you got to meet him and talk to him, but seeing without his voice of what bullshit he went through made me a little bit sympathetic. Doesn't mean I think he's a good person, but anybody that is forced to serve 22 years as a police officer in a jail where everybody's probably trying to hurt you, I would be a pissed off, angry son of a bitch too. And I don't know if that changed things, but
they took away his life, right? And so of course he feels beat down by the system. He served the community for many years, so I don't blame him for feeling that way.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, bro. You don't know what you're talking about. He didn't serve the community. He served himself. He was fucking people up out there, bro.
He was that cop. He was that
cop. Own mouth, man.
I can understand that, and they highlight a little bit of that. They highlight a little bit of that. They did actually talk about his history, that it's really checkered. But when you are in a system like that, and the entire thing's against you, including the government, you would have a demeanor like that. Is what I'm saying. Yeah. Any human being would.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. No, true. And this is and last thing we'll talk about with that is if the police department was that corrupt, then maybe he thought nothing would change if he helped it or if he would face some kind of punishment. I'll speak for Kash on this one. What he's trying to say is he was probably like more of the head of the snake instead of the tail. Like he was that guy that signed up to be a police, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kash, he signed up to be a police officer so that he could be that guy.
Yeah. I mean, he has done some good. I've heard the stories when he was telling me that he's not a racist, and he was telling me the stories of people that he did help, you know, but you know me, I know people. When I talk to people, I can hear, you know, I get what you're trying to say. So he has tried to help, but he was only telling me about the helpful situations because I knew about the 18 or 19 fucked up things that he's done, not just to black people, but to white people and to Mexican people. He didn't discriminate, even like a kid, a 16-year-old. You know what I'm saying?
Like he just liked doing his job to the point where it was he used his job as a release, which is not what a police officer should be, period. So in the end, what happened with Floyd probably was God's punishment for everything that he had done to that point.
No, that's not God's punishment. He's got to be corrected, bro. That's all it is. And I was a good brother to him in there. I treated him good when nobody else would fuck with him. Not even the white dudes would talk to him, bro. He couldn't even sit at the whites table. They made that man sit with the what do I want to call it? Can we say the word? Can I say the word?
Transmission?
No. Worse.
Nazi.
Worse.
What else is KK?
No. The ones that are there for doing something that they shouldn't have
Oh,
done.
the what's a better way to say it?
The plus part of
they like kids.
Yes.
There you go.
You know, yeah, there's
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the podiatrist.
Where Joe Biden
There you
belongs.
go.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay,
there
got
you
it.
go.
All right.
Yeah.
So the last question on this topic, Connie says you have all this in his words. So essentially, what do you have? And then we'll leave it go from there.
What I have is him answering a bunch of questions about that day and his career as a police officer and incidents that he was in and how he feels about the whole situation, corruption in Minneapolis Police Department that he knows about. It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. A whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, like, Clay, I forgot about Clay Travis, and that's with Fox. I should try to find a way to get a hold of him. He does a lot of sports stuff too. All right. Yeah. Let's we got a couple minutes. So take us from last time we talked about Chauvin was right before the stabbing. So he got stabbed pretty close to you, I guess. And that was
No, not close to me. He wasn't close to me when he got stabbed. He was in the law library.
Oh, there were the last stat. I'm sorry. There was another stabbing that happened.
Was right in front of me.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So go ahead and just talk about your last month or two, I guess that brings us 2 months until you ended up getting out.
I worked out really hard. I did everything that, like every class that they had, I did. I went and did CrossFit. I just focused on getting my body in order. You know what I'm saying? And I went hard with it. I stayed reading books. I stayed out the way. Didn't really like talking to a lot of people because shit gets started. A lot of them dudes are just really messed up. And I just didn't want to deal with them. So I stayed with my little crew that I had of good dudes they got plans to do better when they get out. They want to be street lights. They want to help with street lights. They want to, get in contact. So that's who I hung out with. It was horrible the last, I say, month because we were on lockdown because of what happened with Chauvin. And they tore our cells up. They did a whole raid on the whole cell, made everybody go out to the yard, and they tore the whole unit up, trying to find knives.
Can you clarify that, by the way, with Chauvin? Because everybody thought that it was like an FBI inside job. And
No. Okay, so I'm going to tell you. The dude that stabbed him, his name is Stranger, John Terzak. All right, we call him Stranger. He's a money-hungry drug addict. All right? He's locked up because he was a part of the Mexican mafia, the Black Hand. He was a Black Hand. And there's a book out about him. He got 30 or 40 people locked up. So he's not allowed to go to any prisons. So he had to go to the gang drop unit, but he doesn't consider himself a dropout. He still thinks he's some big, gangbanger. So when he's not, he's a fucking lame. Just throw that out there. And I don't like him because he's a piece of garbage. And I don't like to say that about people. I try to stay up and be positive, but that dude is a piece of garbage, bro. Anyway, he had this little scheme in his mind. A lot of them dudes in the penitentiary across the street seen Chauvin as a meal ticket, that if somebody would do something to him, that BLM would send them a whole bunch of money. And this dude, Terzak, doesn't like blacks. He's Black Hand, Mexican mafia. He don't like blacks. But he had the scheme in his mind, is how I interpret it. He joined Islam, tried to become Muslim, because that's where most blacks that were there went, and they did that. You know what I'm saying? They were part of the Ummah. You know what I'm saying? The congregation. So he does that, tries to take pictures with people that are black. So when he does what he did, in my mind, this is how I think, because I've seen the way his mind's moving. I think that he stabbed him because he thought that he was going to get a bunch of money from black people, that they were going to donate money to him
to help him eventually get out earlier, which is ironic.
No, he don't want to get out early. He doesn't want to get out. He just needs money while he's in there to get high. He's a drug addict.
So essentially money will buy you stuff in a federal prison to whatever you need type thing. Because you pay off
the K2, the deuce, that's all through the prison. That's what he does. He does K2. He nods out. He does. He's a piece of trash, bro.
So you can get that kind of drug. Those people can get those kind of drugs in prison.
Hell yeah. You get all types of stuff in prison.
No kidding. Okay. All right. So that ends that story. So the guy, everybody, we had our conspiracies like, oh, this guy's, and it was on Black Friday and it was
No, that was him. He said that in the hole. That's how that got out. When he was in the hole,
right.
He was yelling. He said, the murder machine is back. Yeah, I stabbed him on Black Friday. I used to be Black Hand and I did it for Black Lives Matter. That's what he said. He wanted that to be the quote that goes into the news so that Black Lives Matter would be like, oh, we got to give him some money. And the dude is, I think he's a Croatian, bro. He's not even, or he's something. He's not even Mexican. That's the thing. He infiltrated the Black Hand to bring him down. You know what I'm saying? And he's a racist.
But his relationship to the FBI did not go. This was not an FBI hit.
No.
This was not a 3-letter agency hit. This was not a CIA. This was just some
this
crazy
was some drug addict trying to get money. That's it.
How did he how did he survive 22 stabs?
Grace of God. He ain't done with him yet. I think that, honestly, I'm gonna tell you the truth. You know what I think? I think that this is gonna change Chauvin, and when he gets out, he's gonna be a better person. Because when I talked to him before he told me what he told me, I was telling him, I said, listen, man, you know what you should do? Because you haven't talked to nobody. I said, when you talk to them, show remorse. Because it seems that you don't show no remorse. And just tell everybody, like, apologize to the family and say, look, I didn't mean to do it. I'm sorry that it happened. I apologize that it happened. I wish things would have been different. If I could take it back, I would take it back. And he was like, yeah, but then I'd be lying. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, what the fuck? What do you mean? I'm telling you, bro, he's a sociopath, man. And he don't got no remorse. It's like he doesn't have a heart, bro. It's fucked up.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're talking like October-ish is when last time we didn't get to talk much because you had so many minutes left or whatever. So take me through the last couple months and that'll get us to where we are right now.
All right. Yeah. So I get out off of lockdown after he got stabbed, and then I'm out going to work out again, and then fight breaks out right in front of me. Dude gets stabbed, boom, boom, hit him twice, and they locked us down again. So we got locked down. They searched everything, trying to find knives again, and then they told me that I was leaving, that I was going to the halfway house. I got my date. So when I get my date, I start giving all my stuff away to people that needed stuff that didn't have no money. So I started giving away my commissary. I gave away my clothes. I gave somebody my shoes, drawers, everything I had, gave it to them. So then I leave and I call you because my phone was waiting for me. You know what I'm saying? And I called you and got on a plane, went to the halfway house. Halfway house kicked me out, and I'm here.
And you found out with a couple weeks ago, you told me afterwards that there was they started to realize that you should have been released a lot earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. When did they tell you that?
When they told me that I was leaving, they said, well, it looks like you're not going to be in the halfway house very long. I said, what do you mean? They say your date changed. You was right. This was literally like 3 days before I go to the halfway house.
It was already January.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah, man, I'm sorry. There's nothing that I could do about it. This goes all the way to Grand Prairie. It's them that you got to deal with. And I'm like, all right, well, whatever. At least I'm leaving still. And I only got to do a month in the halfway house, but I didn't even have to do the month. That's because First Step Act, Papa Trump.
So last question, do you think that you have grounds for retribution in terms of spending too much time in jail? I mean, that's the one thing that you and I have talked about is like, is there going to be something where if, legally, because when a prisoner stays in longer than they're supposed to stay in, typically the system owes them something.
Well, the system's going to say, well, we gave it to him on his halfway house because I was supposed to stay in the halfway house till July. So they took off the time from the halfway house. That's how they're going to beat it.
But isn't there a huge difference between a halfway house and prison?
Yes.
Yeah, big difference. But you're still in custody of the BOP.
So, I feel like there's got to be something for that. I'm sure.
You know what though? I don't even want that retribution. I'm glad that I stayed as long as I did. I'm glad that I met the people that I met. I'm glad for every single thing that I went through because it made me better. It made me a lot more appreciative of life. It made me a lot more appreciative of our country, of our freedoms, our liberties, all of that. So I don't want no retribution. The only thing I want to do is keep moving forward and progressing and have something built to where when people come home out of there, that we can help them. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And then let their stories be heard and let them tell about what's going on inside the prison industry. I want to advocate for prison reform. I want to get cameras on the COs so they can't go in people's cells and whoop them. You know what I'm saying? Or plant some drugs on them so they get a longer sentence. That's the things that I want to do. Federal oversight of the BOP. That's the retribution. We start doing something to change it so it doesn't happen again. That's it.
Let's just to clarify this statement. He's right here. He's making sure everything runs smoothly. He's good.
I'm here. I'll make smart ass comments here and then.
Let's see. Comment got out of purse for you, touched the heart of a lot of folks inside. Yes, you're still the most positive person. We miss you, Cash.
Miss y'all too.
Street light in a dark place. All right. So you kind of just answered the whole big changes, and I don't know, because we've had a bunch of shows. I don't think we really got too much into the fact that these COs don't have to wear. I think we talked about it in the first episode.
Yeah, they don't got to wear cameras.
They don't have to wear cameras, and it creates a really unfair place for prisoners. Right. So there's definitely a need for prison reform in this country, and that's something as we hit the ground running that Cash will continue to address. So, yeah. I don't think I've got anything else. Casey, do you have any other questions for him?
No, we got through all of them. I had a bunch of them around Derek Chauvin, but we already
stay away from Lily's. Stay away. Hey, I gotta say though, man, they're funny as hell. They are funny as hell, bro. Because I'm gonna tell a story before we get off, right? So when we're in the hole.
As long as the story is about you getting off with Lily's.
Oh,
no,
Jesus.
Look, listen. We're in the hole, bro. And you can only talk through the door to people. You know what I'm saying? You can't see nobody because we're all in cells. So all we can do is talk through the door or through the window, right? So I go to the window and I hear people yelling and talking and all of this, right? So I hear this dude yelling, Lily. So I go to the window, right? Lily goes talking to this dude from the window, and he's like, Lily, man, why you ain't talking to me, girl? You know I love you, man. I'm gonna marry you, man. I'm like, what in the hell? Where am I at right now? And then Lily's talking to the dude in the window. So then the Mexican or the El Salvadorian dude, he's like, Lily. He's yelling out the window, calling for Lily. And he's like, Lily, you don't fuck with that guy. I love you. You're mine. I'm like, Joe, this is crazy. It's like, this could have been a reality TV show. It was insane, bro. So then, yeah, that happened. But then this is the even funnier part. So another bid that I did. These guys were out on the yard because there's people that can go out while we're in the hole. They're all out there doing regular prison stuff. So they're walking the track. And these dudes come walking and they're asking for this dude, Bullfrog. Bullfrog was his name. So they're like, hey, Bullfrog. He said, hey, Bullfrog. So then the dude yells back, and I heard his voice. I heard them talking one day. So I'm listening to his voice. So I start to imitate it. Because they moved him to the other side, and they couldn't talk to Bullfrog no more because he got moved. So they come to the window. They're yelling. They can't see us. But we can yell out the window. They go, hey, Bullfrog. I say, hey, man, what's going on? They're like, hey, man, did you send that money to your girl? And I'm like, oh, no, man, I'm sorry. I couldn't get around to it. They ain't let me use the damn phone. I'm just having a full-blown conversation, acting like I'm Bullfrog with these dudes that I have no idea who they are, but I know they're white supremacists. And it was funny as hell because they're talking to a black dude and they think it's Bullfrog. It was great, bro. It was great. So then when they're leaving, I'm like, hey, man, I love you, man. I can't wait to get out there with you. He's like, all right, Bullfrog, love you too, brother. I'm like, all right, brother. What? I ain't going to say it on here, but, hey, I had fun. And then when they found out that I was black one day, because I kept doing it, the dude upstairs was like, hey, bro, that's not Bullfrog. And then he was like, that is Bullfrog. I go, no, man, it's really not. I'm not Bullfrog, man. I've been playing, man. They got mad as hell. One of them started cracking up, bro. It was the funniest shit. And that's how I made my time go by in the hole, by the way. I was out there fucking with people while they're walking on the yard, bidding off of people. And then I found two big-ass groundhogs that got this hole. They come out huge. And, yeah, I named them, and I tried to get them to come up to the window. So that was what I did.
So you sounded like the character on Chappelle.
Yeah.
The black, what was that? Clayton
Clayton Bigsby.
Clayton Bigsby, the black guy that was the white supremacist. Yeah.
Yes, bro. It was funny as hell. I'm talking about that's how I made my day go by. Literally talking to strangers as they're going by on the yard, these dangerous ass dudes, and I'm acting like a country guy that that's from Alabama. It was great, bro.
That's how most Democrats actually see you, by the way. So,
Oh yeah.
This is exactly what I think when you say Lily.
That's same as me. With Tracy Morgan.
No. I want when you think of Lily, think like my complexion, but looks like Lil Wayne, dreads and all that.
Oh man,
it looked like Lil Wayne.
I remember you actually saying that now. Yeah, because
and they were but this is the funny part. So when I told all the dudes when they were asking me if there was somebody back there, and I told them that it looked like Beyonce. So I'm in Tucson at this point, and I'm already gone. Okay. So the guys that were there, some of them came to Tucson like a month and a half later. Cash, you have a lot of people out there. I appreciate you. Thank you for that. I appreciate that, Bonnie. But yeah, so they come to the prison and they're like, I'm like, what's going on, bro? How you been, man? I shake their hand. They're like, man, fuck you, Cash. I say, what? They said, man, you said Lily look like Beyonce, man. That bitch look like Lil Wayne, brother, like a gremlin. I lost it, bro. I started dying laughing. I say, man, I had one last bid. I said, you shouldn't be doing that stuff anyway. You know what I'm saying? There, you got what you deserve. And I found out they still was in there. They had a whole knife fight over Lily. A whole knife fight into like some dudes got shipped to ADX. It was crazy.
Are you sure it was a knife fight or was it a sword fight? If you know what I mean.
I hear you. No, it was definitely they went crazy. It was nuts, bro. Literally.
So last thing I'm going to say real quick, guys. So there was like several times over, and you can kind of hear if you listen to the whole show, that he was always bouncing around. And we had a couple times where we started email lists to try to send out letters, and we started just different things to try to communicate, trying to keep everybody kind of abreast. And people sign up for emails, they sign up for all these different things. As you can see, the communication with I think there's a period of probably like 8 months where I talked to Kash 3 times just because it was so hard from him traveling all over the place. So we tried to do a lot of stuff. We tried to get letters. The actual way that him and I were communicating via the prison system email would not work for months. So we had the intention of him writing and doing all these things, and he'd like write one thing and then I wouldn't be able to hear from him for 2 or 3 months. So fact is, here we are.
Stay right here. Okay, hold on. I got something.
Shelly's great, by the way. Shelly's around. I mean, Shelly's been talking to us. Chris, what's going on, Chuck? Let's see. Rose says, what made us smile tonight, Cash? By the way, guys, I do have the thing scrolling on the bottom.
Hey,
if you like any of the gear, which Cash will be having t-shirts for, he's going to have his clothing. It's already been sent, and the hat will come soon. Go to awakenotwokestore.com, and you get a 20% discount if you do Cash, unless it's the Cash merch. Go ahead, Cash. What do you got?
Hey, Chuck.
Oh, jeez.
We love you, Chuck. We love you, bro. I hope you remember that. You remember these? You remember these, Chuck? Man, we love you, bro.
I don't even remember that. What is that?
We love Chuck shirts.
about Chuck Pendergrass?
Yeah, about Chuck.
God, I don't even remember that. I've got apparently
way back when we first started.
Oh my God, I don't remember that. Vaguely, maybe. I don't know.
Yep. We love Chuck. Boom.
That's funny.
This is limited edition. There's only like 3 in existence, and I got one. Yeah.
It's a limited edition. Chuck goes, I can't believe you still have that.
Yeah. Told you, bro. Still love you, Chuck.
Adam wants your rants again. The Cash rants. Has Cash gone back to making comments?
They're coming. Believe me. But they're gonna be. I'm not gonna be negative. All right. That's the thing. I don't want to. I hate. Like, it was hard for me to talk. Like, even we were talking about Chauvin. It's hard for me to talk about it because I don't like the energy that I feel when I do. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't like to feel like that. And I really want to see him do good. I want to see him come out and be a better person. I don't wish nothing bad on him. Yeah. But talking about him and talking about the different situations that are volatile, like I don't like the energy. So when I do make my rant videos, it's not going to be with a negative, no negative thing like how I used to do. I don't want to tear nobody down. I don't want to talk about a liberal and their stuff. I just want to, I want to be positive. Their stuff. Yeah.
Kelly's calling you out. Not my Kelly, but Kelly out and
I probably do. I
you
probably
do. You say the word hate a lot while you're smiling. I notice.
Yeah, because it's like I'm not saying it with a thing like I hate you or nothing like that. It's just like there's things that I hate. I don't like to feel negative. I don't like it. I hate to feel negative.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. All right, that's all we got. This is that we've wrapped it up. We've gone. If you can see it on YouTube, I think Rumble might be missing one of them. You can watch all these on YouTube. You can watch them on the Facebook page. You can watch them on Cash's YouTube, Truth Will Set You Free, hashtag Be The Change YouTube, or on our Facebook. Again, on Thursday night, we've got Truth Will Set You Free at our regular time, 6 o'clock Central. We're going to talk briefly at the beginning of that or end of it. I mean, you can say something now, Cash, the way you did earlier, just about one of the things you're working on as you re-enter the world and have to figure out job situation and work situation, et cetera. And of course, you've got people wanting to support you. So tell them a little bit about that, and then we'll wrap up.
So yeah, part of this company, right? Promoting American-made products that don't have a whole bunch of harmful chemicals. They're like mostly all natural. And it's all made here in America. All of it. There's nothing from anywhere else. It's made right here in America. And I want to support that because I love this country. You know what I'm saying? And we talk a lot about other countries, I'm trying to stay away from the negative thing about the CCP and all that kind of stuff, but it's a reality. Everybody complains about, the China doing this and the CCP, but nobody supports American business. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I want to support American business, and I want to promote that for everybody else because it's things that we need. There's things that we need, and there's people there that they provide it, and they make a living off of it. So I think that it would be good if you guys want to check it out. Let me know. We're about to do a Zoom, right, Russo?
Yeah, we're going to do a Zoom right after our episode on Thursday night to talk more about it.
Yeah, the great thing about it is even me being a shopper there, I earn points. I earn points that I could get free stuff. I already actually got some free stuff that's coming my way because I shop with them. And if you shop with them, it's the same exact thing. You earn points that are get you a discount on things that you actually need. So you could go there and you could get laundry soap, you could get dish soap, you could get vitamins, you can get health shakes, you could get, I don't know, there's a whole bunch of stuff.
Essentially, they've created stuff.
Deodorant,
they're a long-standing company. They've created brands that compete with like the 7th generations, and they essentially are duplicating woke brands and making them all American and also the same quality. That's about it. That's about the best way to describe it. So
better quality.
Way better quality.
Yeah, better quality. 7th Generation is a great product. The problem is the company is hot garbage. Right. Let's see. We're gonna have completely holistic products. Oh, look, it's a 6-year-old boy.
Oh my God.
All right. So yeah. Points at a dispensary. What's this? All right.
Hey, Kelly. Kelly, I like you, Kelly. Just so you know, I really like you, man. You're dedicated. That's dope.
I get an American-made boyfriend there. Well, there is cleaning products. All right.
Hey, be careful. Be careful because apparently I'm back on the market. You know what I'm saying? So watch out.
Oh, there's some more news for you. All right, Cash, take us home.
All right. Unite. Don't fight. Be a street light. Because only you can be the change you wish to see in the world. And when you get too stressed out, you got to remember to pray, America, because without God, everything falls apart.
Woo!
Yeah, brother!
He just had a seizure. It must have been from the jab.
That was great. That was so good.